With more than 6 billion copies in print, the Bible is arguably the best-selling book in the history of mankind. With over 2 billion copies, the Quran, Islam's holy book, is the next most popular. To put this in perspective, there are only 8 billion people on the planet. Over 100,000 Bibles are given away or distributed every day. The New Testament has been translated into over 1,600 languages. The King James Bible is the all-time bestseller. It is a compilation of 80 books. There are 39 in the Old Testament, 14 in the Apocrypha, and 27 in the New Testament. In the Catholic Bible, there are 73 books, 46 in the Old Testament, and 27 in the New Testament. 66 of these books are accepted by Protestants. The Pentateuch are the first 5 books of the Jewish Torah, or Hebrew Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. These books are attributed to Moses. The Apocrypha comes from a Greek term which means hidden away. Protestants reject all of the Apocrypha, while Roman Catholics, Eastern Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, and Coptic Christians accept some of them. There are 27 books in the New Testament, and they include the 4 canonical Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. There are 100 complete translations into English. When was the Bible written? The Bible was written over the course of more than 1,000 years, between 1200 BC and 100 AD. Who wrote the Bible? There are 29 known authors of the Old Testament and 8 known authors of the New Testament. Moses was the first person to write any portion of the Bible. Generally, scholars see Moses as a legendary figure. Most scholars believe that Paul actually wrote 7 of the Pauline epistles. 3 of the epistles in Paul's name are widely seen as pseudepigraphic, in other words, written by someone else proclaiming to be Paul. These include 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, and Titus. Revelations is the final book of the Bible. Authorship is ascribed to John, but little else is known about the writer. According to the text, it was written around 95 AD on an island off the coast of Turkey. We live in a world that is mostly literate, but that has not always been the case. The origins of literacy can be traced back to Mesopotamia around 3000 BC. Ancient Sumerians began writing on clay tablets and invented cuneiform, the first known writing system. It has been estimated that at least 90% of the Jewish population of Roman Palestine in the 1st century AD could merely write their own name. The literacy rate was about 3%. The Old Testament is the first section of the Bible, covering the creation of earth through Noah and the flood, and finishing with the Jews being expelled to Babylon. Judah, in the 8th century BC, that the Old Testament began to take form, the result of royal scribes recording royal history and heroic legends. During the reign of Josiah in the 6th century BC, the books of Deuteronomy and Judges were compiled and added. Following conquest by Alexander the Great, the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek in the 3rd century BC, known as the Septuagint. This Greek translation was initiated at the request of King Ptolemy of Egypt to be included in the Library of Alexandria. This version of the Bible was used by early Christians in Rome. The book of Daniel was written during this period and included in the Septuagint at the last moment, though the text itself claims to have been written sometime around 586 BC. In summary, the Old Testament was written by many authors and compiled over a period of 1,000 years.